Hello. Today I am going to continue to talk to you about your project called The Island, and I hope that you have all got a good start on that and you are having fun with it. But I should mention, even though the tasks are kind of in number order, you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want to do it when. So like today, I'm going to talk about task 9 here in a little bit. Maybe that's something that you wanted to do really early on. So don't feel like you have to go in the exact order of the numbers if you don't want to. Okay, do it however it works best for you. Okay, because this is your project. Okay, but in this video today, I'm going to try to give you a little background on tasks 7, 8, and 9. Okay, I think they're all kind of somewhat related a little bit, but what the first thing that I would do, like I've said in all the other videos, is to look at your handy dandy instruction booklet. Okay, so let's go to the second page here and look what it says for, actually we need to go to the third page. For task 7, it's the first one on that next page, the itinerary. Okay, so task 7, itinerary. And before I get into this, this is actually something that I love to do. So I'm sure you guys have known from getting to know me a little bit this year. I do enjoy traveling. So whenever I travel, I try to come up with a plan of when I kind of want to be where or what I want to do at this time. And that's called an itinerary. Okay, that's something that I enjoy doing. I've actually been doing a couple here over since we've been away from school. But you should also note that in the Watsons Go to Birmingham, Willona, or Kenny's mother, the Watsons Go to Birmingham journal book, okay, that was like an itinerary too. She was going through all the different places they were going to stop, what they were going to eat at a certain time, where they were going to stay, all those kinds of things, and that was like an itinerary that she had. Now, of course, we know that the father didn't really follow it, okay, but she put a lot of hard work into that plan that they were going to have as they drove down to Alabama. So that's pretty much what you're doing here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and read the directions real quick for task 7, itinerary. It says, create an itinerary or plan for your trip to the island. Now it says trip to the island, not the whole big long trip. It's just getting there, okay? Include all types of costs you can think of. So what do you have to pay for? There's some in parentheses here, like a chartered plane, gas, vehicles, and there could be other things too, okay? So it says use the objective to help you think of the additional costs, okay? Now you might want to go back and look at the task 4 where it gave the let me find it here, the island information sheet. Okay, it did give some details in here about how maybe you have to get to the island. So you might double check this. Actually, there's a section right at the bottom that says accessibility. So that means how accessible is the island? How can you get there easiest? So you might want to check that out, and that might help you as you do the itinerary. But before we look at it here, I'm also going to read the objective on the paper. So in your journal, this is task 7, and it says, the most important part of a mission is getting there. You've got to figure out how you plan to travel to your destination. So then you have the objective. Okay, so the objective is create a travel itinerary. Will you take a plane, boat, or helicopter? If you're bringing loads of supplies, which I would think you'd want at least some supplies, what will be the best way to travel? So how are you going to travel in a way that you can also bring a bunch of supplies along? How long will the travel take? That might be something you do a little quick research on, or you just kind of do your best to make your best guess. Are you planning on bringing items back? So you're taking things there. Are you also planning on bringing those things that you take back? Or are there some things on the island that you think you might want to bring back? Will that affect how you travel? Okay. And then it says, use these questions to create your travel itinerary. Include cost, time, and resources needed. Okay. Now, obviously, cost, that's going to be kind of up to you. You might do some basic research on if you have access to the internet or whatever. You might research what a flight would be from Columbus to wherever you want to fly to get there. You could do some basic research on that. But if you can't, just make it up and do the best. Do what you think. Okay. So here's what it looks like. Okay. So you see at the top it says itinerary. Then right here it says type of travel. Okay, so that would be where you're thinking about, okay, how am I going to get to the island? Am I going to fly on a plane somewhere, then take another flight to the island? Am I going to maybe fly somewhere and then take a boat to the island? There's all different kinds of ways you could get there, but kind of put what type of travel you're going to do here, then kind of describe it. So maybe like plane flight to Los Angeles, and then maybe plane flight to the island or whatever. Then how much that would cost. Okay, and again, estimate, use your best guess, and then you'll total all of that up. Okay, so that's how much the travel is going to cost for you to get to the island. Then here it says travelers. So remember the last one we did, you kind of created your team. So each member of your team is going to have kind of their own costs as well. Maybe one person in your team isn't even from the United States and will have to travel a different way. So you can put their costs there too and then total those up. All right. Then down at the bottom, time and days. So how long is it going to take you to travel to get to the island? Will you be able to do it in one day? Will it take a couple days? Maybe it'll take a week because it's hard to get transportation to that island. I don't know. Maybe you're going to have to spend some time gathering supplies before you travel to the island. So, kind of describe what your time's going to be like there, okay? And then extra resources needed. So, besides, your travel, what are some other things that you might need to take with you, I guess, and how much are those going to cost, okay? Maybe that's like another vehicle that you want to be transported there to help you when you get to the island, or like it said in here, gas that you might need for your vehicle. So you can put those things here, estimate that cost, and then come up with your total cost at the bottom. Okay, so that's your itinerary. That's how you're going to get from where you live to the island. Okay. Our next one, then, we're going to move on to task 8. And I'm going to go back to the handy dandy instruction booklet. Excuse me. Okay. Task 8 is schedule. Okay, so that's going to be what's your plan once you get to the island? What are you going to do? How long is it going to take you? Do you expect? Obviously, you're not going to really know until you experience it, but you might have a schedule beforehand. Excuse me. So it says, based on the top secret mission and contract, think about the tasks that you are expected to complete and the information that you are expected to provide. So according to that contract, what were you supposed to be doing? What information were you supposed to find? Think about that as you plan your trip schedule. What shape is the park in? Kind of said that. And what dinosaurs are on the island? Think about those things as you make your plan of what you're going to do each day. Then it says, based on this, what tasks do you feel your group will need to complete on each day? Pay attention to the objective and expectations at the bottom of the page. Okay, so I'm going to go over those right now. It says in your journal, it says, every mission has a time frame. Some last a couple of minutes, while others can last a month. Objective. Create a time frame for this mission. Visualize what your team will do. So what are you going to be doing? What obstacles might you face? There could be several. Okay. Those are things that are like getting in the way of you achieving your goal. And experiences you will have. You might have some experiences that you expect to have. There might be some experiences that maybe you didn't expect to have. This doesn't mean there couldn't be problems that arise, but every mission has a schedule. So a lot of times we might make a schedule for something and we hope that it goes like that, but inevitably the way human nature is, something is going to go wrong, right? So you make the schedule, you have a guide, but you're going to have to adjust it sometimes if in case things don't go according to your plan. So on here it says include specific dates, okay, locations that you hope to arrive at, and what you plan to do at each spot. So what places on the island are you trying to go to? And then what's your plan once you get to those places? Okay, and maybe how far away are those places from one another? How long is it going to take you to get from this place to that place? Okay, so this is what that looks like. Now on here, we have a schedule. It's only 4 days. Okay, we thought that was a good amount. If you want to make more, that is entirely up to you, and you are more than welcome to do that. You can even do that probably on the back side of the page that is blank. Okay, but we just decided to go with 4, and 4 is fine. Okay. So up here you'll see trip schedule, then you'll see day 1. So you might want to include the date, make up a date here, okay? And then maybe what place are you going to go to on day 1? What are your objectives for day 1? What do you want to accomplish or learn? Then, day 2, new date, probably the next day. Where are you going to go on that day? What are you trying to do? And so on until you get to day 4, okay? Now, if you're only going to do 4 days, day 4, you're probably going to want to hopefully maybe return from the island on day 4. So think about that too. How can you utilize those 4 days best in terms of what you need to do for your mission? Okay. I don't think there's anything else in here. Nope. Okay. Then lastly, moving on to task. This is a fun one for me too. This one we'll get to the social studies that we did earlier on the year with maps. Here, you're just going to create your own map of the island. And we kind of had an example here for you, just that we thought that would make it easier for you. If you want to create your own island and make it different than this, that's up to you. You're more than welcome to do that. If you have a certain idea of what you wanted it to look like, that's fine. But anyways, first thing we're going to do is go back to the instruction manual and look at task 9. So task 9 is island map. So draw a map of the island with important locations. Please take note and look closely at the objective and the information that needs to be on the map. Okay. So here's what it says. This mission requires a map of the island. Otherwise, how would you get around? Objective. Draw a map of the island with details and locations. Include a legend or key in your map. Okay, so you have a legend or a key. You'll notice there is not one on here, and there's not a lot of room, so I'm going to get into that in a second. It says include the island name, so that you'll probably want to write up here. And I think that might have already been on the information sheet. You might check that out. Or you could maybe make it up. Maybe you want to change the name of the island. Include a scale for distance. So if you remember right, a scale would be like if you're going to measure an inch on your map, how many miles or whatever, what distance would that be on the island? Okay. 5 important locations. So you need to have 5 important locations. So those could be things like they list here, such as labs, buildings, maybe pens for certain dinosaurs or whatever, maybe fields or cages. Could even be like landforms. Maybe there's like a valley or a mountain, volcano, something like that, a river. That could be something too. Include a compass rose, and actually there's already a compass rose on your map, so you don't necessarily need to worry about that unless you make your own map. Okay, and then geography, which I kind of already said. What are some landforms? Some water features, maybe there's a lake, maybe there's a pond, maybe there's some rivers, streams, maybe there's some certain habitats, like maybe there's a little spot that's more like a rainforest, maybe there's a spot where it's like a plain or a prairie, and maybe even there's some roads on there that take you from place to place. Okay, now like I said, here's what it looks like. This is kind of small, and the map that we put on here pretty much covers up the whole page. So there's not a lot of room for you to make I think there's room for you to make a scale, but if you don't want to make the scale here, I would suggest turning it to the back and making your key and your scale on the back side of the page. Okay. Now, when you do that, I did give an example of some things you'd want to include on your map in your instruction manual. So if you look here, there is a page that says things to include on map. Okay, so, oops. So here, it listed that on your objectives, so make sure you pay attention to your objectives. But then I kind of showed you an example of a legend or a key, okay? And yours does not have to be like mine. I just did one very quickly and simply just to kind of maybe help you kind of think back to what a key actually was and what its purpose was, because we did go over these earlier in the year. So mine, I put legend up here, and then I put like 5 numbers, so those would have been like the 5 important locations, okay? And then I just put what they were. So like for 1, I put dock, 2, laboratory, 3, viewing tower. You could do anything that you want. But remember, there's supposed to be 5 important locations that you label on the map, okay? And then here kind of I have some other symbols. So those are like for the landforms and things like that. So I have a symbol for a road, a bridge, stream, lake, mountain, prairie, building, plateau. And you can do whatever you want, okay? You don't have to do yours exactly like mine. I just did this as an example for you. And I, quite frankly, did this very quickly. So think about it. And I know, there's probably some of you that really are interested in geography, like maps. So go all out on it if you want. You can even color it. That'd be great if you colored it. And then below here, I also have an example of a scale, okay? So you see here I put scale, and I put 1 inch equals 25 miles. Maybe yours is going to be 1 inch equals 100 miles. It doesn't matter, but then you kind of show it here. So I have inches, and then I have miles, and then I got to 1 inch, and that was 25. Then 2 inches, that was 50, and so on. So you'll also want to make your scale. And if you want to squeeze that on this page somewhere, I think you probably could. Or if you want to, you can do your legend and your scale on the back side where there's a lot more space for you. It might make it easier. So those were tasks 7 through 9, and like I said, you don't necessarily have to do these in order. So maybe you want to do your map. Maybe you want to do your map as like the 4th thing that you do, so you actually know what the island looks like before you do all your other travel plans or your itinerary or anything like that. Okay. So, anyways, I hope this is fun for you. Remember, it is your project. Use your talents. Okay. I think all of you have talents that could go into this project very well. And be creative, okay? Be creative. I think all of you have your own interests and things that you like, so put those into this, okay? Make it fun, all right? But that's tasks 7 through 9. I will probably add some more videos here in the next couple days about the other tasks as well. So keep kind of looking, and I'll try to keep adding more and more as we go. Okay? So this is, what is this, Thursday today? Yes. So I hope you have a great Thursday, and keep working hard on this, and I hope you're all doing well. Think about it. You've got about a week and a half left. That's not too much. So keep working hard. Do the best that you can do. All right? Have a good day.